After a 23-17 loss to the Minnesota Vikings in London, the Jets fell to 2-3. Yesterday morning, they decided to fire fourth-year head coach Robert Saleh. Saleh had a 20-36 record with the Jets and no playoff appearances. Was firing Saleh the right move? In this video, I'll discuss why I think firing Robert Saleh was a horrible decision and why it will backfire on the Jets. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop a like and subscribe if you're new. Subscribing takes just a second and it really helps me out. Thank you, and let's get started. Chapter 1: Saleh's tenure as a head coach. After 4 years as the defensive coordinator in San Francisco, the Jets hired Saleh as their head coach before the 2021 season. His first year was not good as he went just 3-14, then went 7-10 in his next 2 seasons. Okay, that's not great, but let's look at what he had to work with. We'll start with the bad. Other than this season, Saleh has had Zach Wilson as his primary quarterback, who was one of the worst players to ever step on a professional field. His offenses have scored just 17.2 points per game and a putrid 33.1% third down conversion rate during his time as a coach, which are both 25th in the league. Reminder, he does not call offense, so this isn't on him, but it's hard to win football games when your offense doesn't put up points. The highest his offense has been ranked has been 25th, which is this year. Now let's look at what he can control, the defense, and it's hard to do better than he has. Since 2022, his defense has allowed just 19.4 points per game, which is 6th in the NFL. Considering his defense is almost always on the field, that's insane. His defense's EPA, which is how well a team performs compared to their expected performance on a play-by-play basis, has also been very good. Take a look at this chart from the 2023 season. You have 31 NFL teams relatively close to each other, with a few farther away like the Ravens and Browns, and then you look over here at the Jets. They had the third best defensive EPA, yet the worst offensive EPA, and by a lot. The fact that they even won 7 games that season is a credit to Robert Saleh, not a negative on him. The point is, Saleh has been amazing at his job, being the defensive head coach, but he's never had an offense to work with, and as we know, it's almost impossible to win games in today's NFL without a good offense. If the Jets wanted results, they should have addressed their offensive problems, not fired the guy who helped their defense be a top unit. Chapter 2: How the hell does Nathaniel Hackett have a job still? The Jets fired the wrong guy. Plain and simple. They chose to fire the dude who helped their defense become one of the best in the league, instead of firing the dude who is actively making their offense be one of the worst in the league. Nathaniel Hackett has never been a good coach. His success with the Packers was only because of a certain back-to-back MVP named Aaron Rodgers. We saw how he single-handedly ruined Russell Wilson in Denver, and now he's ruining the Jets as well, and is basically the reason Saleh got fired. He is so bad at calling plays that Aaron Rodgers has literally been part QB, part offensive coordinator. I get he and Rodgers are buddies, but the fact that he's coaching anywhere higher than Pee Wee football is insane. Jets, you fired the wrong coach. Chapter 3: Why this season? So let's take a look at this season in particular. Saleh joins Dennis Allen, 0-4, Joe Philbin, 1-3, Jay Gruden, 0-5, and Matt Rule, 1-4, is the only coaches to be fired within the first 5 weeks of a season. So let's take a look at what went wrong this season. Well, not much actually. The Jets have a 2-3 record, good for second in their division. They currently have the 5th best defense in terms of points per game and are second in yards allowed per game. So Saleh's doing his job. The offense, however, which again, Saleh doesn't control, is 27th in yards per game and 25th in points per game. Let's look at their wins. 7-point W over the Titans on the road and a 21-point thrashing of the Patriots at home. Neither are impressive wins, but are solid. Now let's take a look at their losses. Their only home loss was a 10-9 L against the Broncos, which is the only game this season where the Jets look truly awful. But Saleh and the defense limited the Broncos to 10 points, and the Jets would have won it if it wasn't for Greg's 50-yard missed field goal at the end of the game. Their other 2 losses were a 13-point loss to the 49ers, who despite what their record shows are still Super Bowl contenders, and a 6-point loss in London to the Vikings, who are one of just 2 undefeated teams left in the entire league. Their losses haven't been horrible at all. They even have a plus 7-point differential. And like I mentioned, Saleh's defense is a top 5 unit. It's not his fault Rodgers is a shell of his former self or that Nathaniel Hackett is a horrible coordinator. Saleh has done his job. You may have noticed this while I was listing off the other coaches fired within the first 5 games, but Saleh has the best record out of all of them. Sure, the Jets haven't been world beaters so far, but they've been nothing short of an above average team, and you don't fire your head coach for that. Chapter 4: Why this will backfire. We've already established that Robert Saleh was far from the problem, so now let's take a look at why this was a horrible decision. Since 2000, interim head coaches have a combined record of 88 and 140. We take that 39% win rate and apply it to the Jets' final 12 games, and they go 5-7 in that span, finishing the season 7-10 and missing the playoffs. That checks out with the other insane stat about interim head coaches, and that's playoff appearances. The only interim head coach in the Super Bowl era to ever make the playoffs in their first season is Rich Bisaccia of the Raiders during the 2021 season, and he lost in the wildcard round. History shows that this decision to fire Saleh almost guarantees that the Jets, who came into the season as Super Bowl contenders, will miss the playoffs entirely. Considering the Super Bowl window is only 2 or 3 years maximum, this is not good at all, and is yet another reason why firing Saleh was a horrible decision. Chapter 5 Conclusion. So the Jets decided that the best way to fix their problems of a 2-3 start, which really isn't that bad all things considered, was firing the guy that has one side of the ball playing like a top 5 unit in the league. This was Saleh's first real opportunity to do something, and the Jets took it away from him even though he wasn't the problem. They didn't even give him a chance. He finally had a proper team around him, and the Jets didn't let him work with it one bit, just because the Jets started slightly below expectations. This was an all-time blunder by the Jets organization, and I would not be surprised in the slightest if they missed the playoffs. As for Saleh, I'm sure he'll get a job elsewhere. He could possibly go to the Bengals, maybe the Colts, or maybe even reunite with the 49ers. At the end of the day, the Jets gained absolutely nothing by firing Saleh, and they're gonna pay for it. If you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe, and that's it for me. See ya!